We usually have a little chat at this time, and a lot of the time I share Hazrat Mirza's thoughts with you. But yesterday something happened and I thought I will share that with you. You may remember Chaudhry Sahib. He used to be our assistant imam in the UK. Presently he is in the United States. And he has undertaken a huge project, which is the translation and the printing of all of Hazrat Sahab's books in English. And that project, some of you may know, has started. And one book has already been published, and another book is going through the final sort of stages of being printed. I hope that in the next 2 weeks that will be printed as well. But there is a third book that he has translated and sent to me. There are many others which are at various stages of being typed in and revised and this kind of thing. And he sent me Sahab's book, The British Government and Jihad, and for me to look over. And I was going through it, and at the time when Hazrat Sahib was writing, people didn't write references. Hazrat Sahib would just write a verse of the Holy Quran and says, Quran Sharif mein Khuda Ta'ala farmata hai, and then just write the verse. So in all those places, what I try and do is go to the Holy Quran, find the reference, and put it in the footnote. And I try and do the same thing with Hadith. Now, Hazrat Sahib in this book says that one reason for not conducting jihad of the sword at this time is that in Bukhari, from the mouth of the Holy Prophet Muhammad came the word Yazal Harb, that is, that jihad or fighting wars will be ended with the coming of the Messiah. So I thought I'll get Bukhari, I have a copy, and I will add the reference in. And I spent all evening looking for those two words in Bukhari. And I couldn't find them in this, the version that I have. And then I started doing research on the internet. And that hadith, it's a well-known hadith which says when the Messiah will come, he will break the cross, he will kill the swine, he will end jizya. And Hazrat Sahib said, it also says he will end all wars. And so I couldn't find these words, he will end all wars. And I started doing research on the internet. And I found that there is such a hadith, and it is in some versions of Bukhari. It says when Messiah will come, he will break the cross, he will kill the swine, and he will end wars. And but the point that I'm trying to make is this, that what the Holy Prophet said, these things, these books weren't compiled for about 200 to 250 years after the Holy Prophet passed away. And a lot of our disagreements and so on arise because the Hadith says this and the Hadith says that and so on and so forth. And in fact, in doing the research, I found that someone had objected to this statement of Hazrat Sahib that in Bukhari it is said. And of course, the version I have doesn't say that. But interestingly, I found on the internet the version used by Maulana Maudoodi this hadith, that when the Messiah comes, he'll end wars and so on and so forth. And my plea to all our Muslim brothers and sisters is this, that hadith was compiled hundreds of years after the Holy Prophet. And you see, what should I say to this Sunni Maulvi whose compilation of Bukhari that I purchased, and it doesn't have this hadith which says, and the Messiah will end all wars? Should I challenge him and say, you have made changes to Bukhari? Because you see, forever, when anything happens, there are challenges to Ahmadiyya. We challenge you, this didn't happen. We challenge you, this didn't happen. We challenge you this, we challenge you that, and so on and so forth. And we used to get a lot of that in the jung, but when I started writing replies to it, it has now stopped. And the point I'm making is this, that it does not do the Muslim nation overall any good. They don't derive any benefit from these things. I mean, I benefited from the fact that I thought, I'll put the reference in. And then I learned that not all books of Bukhari have this hadith. Some do and so on. But that is for me personally. So what should I now do? Challenge the Sunni world and say, you are actually changing Bukhari? And we actually noticed in South Africa, and I don't know whether this is why this hadith is omitted from the version of Bukhari that I have, but we found in South Africa, Hafiz Sahib said to me, check that this hadith that we were putting is actually in whatever the book was. And I said, Hafiz Sahib, this is hadith. It's bound to be in the book. So they said there's no harm in checking. And I checked. And the hadith was there. But the words of hadith which Ahmadis use to support their case had been removed. And we then got couriered a version of Bukhari from India. This book was published in Pakistan, and we got a version published in India, couriered to us at great expense, and the full hadith was there with the words that we used. Did this gentleman remove this hadith because Ahmadis produce it to support their claim that Hazrat Mirza sahib was the promised Messiah? I don't know. I attribute no motives to him. It may have been a simple error. But the point is that to start challenging each other and start calling each other kafirs and attributing motives and start calling each other hypocrites and liars and this and that because of these small differences doesn't benefit the Muslim nation. All it does is cause disruption and dissension amongst the Muslims. We should always give people the benefit of the doubt and say, well, maybe there was a proofreading error, maybe there is some other reason why this hadith has been missed out, and so on and so forth. So I just thought I will share this with you, and inshallah we will meet next week